Pick translucent yellow all you want, it's still translucent yellow. AKA P.
Stay nutty and get your geek on.
What's up guys, BC coming back at you guys with yet another Transformers video review, and today, finally, getting back into the Voyagers of this whole friggin' lineup, we have Titans Return, Voyager class G2 Optimus, which is one of the figures that when we first saw the scans for him, oh my lord, I wanted this so bad.
The hype was real.
Yes, the hype was real for this figure. And just, as you guys all know, I have a very hidden love for the G2 Optimus design. And in a lot of cases he's disappointing, but in other cases he's awesome. And like clearly enough in the truck mode you can see this is where he's awesome. Yeah, you can complain all you want about the fact that the trailer does not come off. You can complain all you want, but that's how they made this. Because clearly enough, this was clearly meant to get remolded and repainted into somebody else, whose name shall not be mentioned here.
So, live with the fact that it doesn't come off.
Yeah, live for the fact that it doesn't come off. But either way, the truck mode looks awesome. Looks absolutely awesome. Now, he comes with a gun. And he also comes with a sword, but the sword I'll show off later because things happen with that. Very specific things happen with that. And, you know, I'll get around to showing it off at the end. And a major problem with this, and it's not nearly, like, it's better here than it is on my Laser Prime and my Octane. In the fact that this whole hood section does not stay together. So, yeah, just whatever. It rolls perfectly fine. I don't know why we have to show that off, but apparently them's the rules. You know, it rolls just fine.
It's just an unspoken rule of reviews.
Exactly, unspoken rules of reviews. Show it rolling. So with that said, let's crack this translucent yellow bit open and pull out what is his Titan Master, Diak, which if you guys are clever, or at least have some general understanding of why he's called Diak, you would know that this is his name is a direct reference to Diaclone, which is where the Transformers came from.
And that's just awesome.
Exactly, that's really awesome. Now, I'm not going to flip him around into head mode just yet. Because, as you guys all know, if you've played with Titans Return Voyagers up to this point, you know the triple changers. So cracking this back open, and this time instead of sitting him in this way, we're gonna flip, whoops, without dropping him in, and now he won't come out. There we go. We're gonna flip him around this way and slot him in like this if he'll go in. There we go. Closes back up, and now we're ready to turn him into the side of the figure that kind of makes me go, meh. Just at best.
Looks better as the figure that shall not be named.
Even though I already said it.
Yeah.
So,
I was doing
we
it
start
to make fun of you for it.
pulling this apart. Stop making fun of me on my show. Pull this piece out and then rotate it while it's here. Bring it all the way around. Finish rotating it. And there's the cockpit. I hate these stickers with a burning passion. I might actually go after the Reaper labels for this one because these stickers freaking suck. Like, seriously. These are horrible. Hasbro, please stick to paint. Paint is better than stickers. These better than stickers. Especially when they're factory applied. These come up.
It's just what you're good at. Stick with it.
Ha! Ha! Stickers. Stick with it. Ha! Ha! An intentional pun. So yeah, this basically, within my struggling grunts, you effectively flip these pieces around like this, and then you re-plug together all of this to make the fuselage and the cockpit of what is his jet mode. The wings will futz with here in a minute. You come back here, and you split the front of the truck in half, and it folds around like this.
Which is neat.
Then you come back here, this piece flips up, accordions in, I keep deploying that. This piece flips up to kind of form thrusters back there. This piece will then split to form the tail fin. And I'm going to need to kind of show how this works, because effectively what you're doing is you're bringing this forward like this, folding it down, this piece flips around like this, and then slides back and tabs on to this slot right here. I've done this quite a few times, so it's pretty easy for me, but when you get this out of the box and try it yourself, you are going to be freaking confused how this works the first time. With at least your first go around. When you actually kind of have more of an understanding with how these pieces work, you'll be able to do it a little better. With the BC piece of advice out of the way and us in his jet mode, there is the jet mode. And
His wings are pathetically small.
this is a pathetic jet mode, I'm sorry. A neat little thing you can do is you can, kind of a hidden feature, you can plug the gun on back there. I clearly don't see how this is ever going to fly, but, you know, it's a toy. Use your imagination. And even then...
The best part of that jet mode is,
What?
in spite of the terrible stickers, the fuselage is the best part.
And even then, that's not saying much, because I can literally already see how this thing could get shot once and then just completely implode. Because this is a tanker. I'll shut up. Anyways, so yeah, there you go. There's a neat little feature that with the gun. Like, I'm pretty sure no one's mentioned the fact that this can go up here and act as kind of a second seat. And of course, now it won't even tab back on. There we go. Yeah, I hadn't seen this mentioned anywhere else, so maybe I'm the first one to show it off. I'm pretty sure someone in the comment section will correct me and tell me who actually did discover it before I did. But, and you know, whatever, that's fine. But let's get into the next bit. That is kind of a mix between meh and awesome. That being his robot mode. So we're gonna yank this back out like this, and then flip it up like that. Actually, no. Before we do that, let's pull Diac out,
Remove Diac.
and then fold them in half. And now we can zoom back in and get a look at the head. This is a proper G1 head. A proper G1 Optimus head. I like this. So, there's that. Set that to the side. Now these wings. We're going to futz with these in just a second. Because first we're going to flip this whole thing over. We're going to flip this piece down around like this without deploying the antennas. These...
Quick question.
What's up?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the original Laser Prime have a different head than the Generation 1 Prime?
It was generally shaped like G1 Optimus, but it had a bit more of a G2 flair to it. Anyways, these pieces flip up and spin around like that. And as you can clearly see, he's got like the little mortar cannons in there. As reference to the G2 Prime. This flips around. This swings around. These pieces rotate around and the hands flip out. Now coming to the wings, we're going to lift these up and around like this to kind of get them out of the way. Because now we're going to work with the legs. Bring these pieces
That way you need all the carrots which you get.
so we can swing all these down, split this in half, rotate this, and then flip it up. rotate this and flip it up. This will flip around. Flip that down. Rotate around. Flip out the foot. Lightly clip that in and flip this down. Now, a lot of people complained about his stability because he would fall forward too easily. You actually take his hips and you slide him forward. That evens out his balance.
So it's a transformation step people were missing.
Yes. With him specifically, there was a step everyone was missing.
Idiots.
This comes up. And then here's effectively what you got to do with the back. These come up, and there are these little red tabs right here. You spin the wings around, and there's a little slot somewhere on the wing that fits over that tab, and then this whole wing flips in to kind of join up with this tail fin. This is not how I do it normally. You can do, like, this is the official way to do it. I normally, like, just kind of scrunch this up and hope for the best. But that's not best practices. It's not best practices, but it's a good method. Take the head, pop it on, and I'm surprised he hasn't been making the joke about it. There we go. I hate you. So anyways, there is G2 Prime in his robot mode, and he doesn't shine in this mode per se, but as a whole, this is a great looking robot. You know, yeah, clearly enough, the Voyager he's packed in with has a leagues better robot mode, but this is still the cool one. He can hold his gun, which I'd hope he could. And then now we're finally gonna get. Now I'm finally gonna get a chance to show off the sword. And the reason why I kind of have kept this thing hidden is because I painted it.
It used to be piss yellow.
Yes, it used to be piss yellow, but I decided to go with what the original toy used to be like, where he had a light-up gimmick in his right hand, where if you plugged in the sword, you would hit the button and it would shoot a red light through it. All these little red markings that I put inside replicate that glowing gimmick. So this sword just slots right into his right hand, and that's the robot mode. Now, of course, another gimmick that these Voyagers tend to have for their robot modes, each one's worked, except for one. For him specifically, pushing on the grill, and his antenna shoot out. Now, there have been a couple cases where, like, it was just specific Voyagers where as soon as you hit the button and which made the little spires pop out, there are some where the connection for the headmaster was so loose that as soon as they hit the button, the force of these things popping out was so powerful that it popped the head off.
Head off.
Exactly, apparently head off, screw this. Screw this, too powerful, I'm out.
Hey. You know what it's like?
What?
It's like the spring in the Age of Extinction and Leader Prime.
Oh jeez, I still remember that gimmick. I still remember that gimmick. So yeah, anyways, there's G2 Prime. And since he's a Voyager, I'm going to try and compare him with some other Voyagers. So here he is next to Voyager Springer, who is still one of my favorite Voyager figures to this day. A leader class figure, one I have not reviewed yet, again, for very specific reasons. There is Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus, the leader class figure. And I guess since this is technically considered a valid comparison to make, the There's Titan's Return Leader. Titan's Return Leader Power Master Prime. And
Or as we like to call him, Ginrai.
Or exactly what I tend to call him, Ginrai, which is it's technically pronounced Jinrai, but I don't care as much. Now, you can swap the heads. Here's my thing with this, though. Getting this head off and plugging it on up here. It does look good up here on Power Master Prime.
Let's face it.
Alan can't tell, but I'm zooming in on it. But that, like, the fact that this was made to be a Voyager head, this is where the whole swapping of the heads gimmick kind of falls apart. Some heads clearly were not designed to fit certain bodies. Now, since the leaders have the helmet gimmick, you could flip the helmet around. And, you know, yeah, you can kind of see the eyes in there, but you mostly see his eyebrows here.
It's somewhat serviceable.
It's somewhat serviceable, to whereas, like, you know, say, for example, you want to swap it over to, you want to swap the head of Apex onto G2 Prime over here, who apparently does not want to attach to the body.
He doesn't want to have a headache in his whole body, I guess.
One could say that. There we go.
And on, finally.
And you can see that's actually a pretty cool look, except for the fact, well, okay, for one, I need to get that sword out of the way. But as you can clearly see, that's a really big face. So it kind of makes his head, even with these things flipped up, it makes his head look so big. So,
Kinda cheesy.
yeah, exactly. So, I see the appeal of the gimmick. I see what they were trying to do with it. But I strongly think in this case, you're better off not... Like, specifically with the Optimus Prime styled figures, you're better off not goofing with the gimmick.
So moving Uncle Crow off to the side.
I see your joke, and you shouldn't have made it.
Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. So for the most part, that's the comparisons. Now, articulation-wise, this is where he kind of goes meh. Because he does have the articulation with the Titan Master, where it's the ball joint, but these things are flipped up. Ingenious thing, though, it's on this separate panel, so you can still turn his head, which is pretty cool. The shoulders are kind of where things fall apart, because you only get forward and back. You can get in and out, but it's on an entire panel, and that just looks really awkward. And say, for example, you don't want to have him have these giant shoulder spires. That's fine, you can fold them back around, but then they bump into this to where you can't fold his arms forward. So while they do give you display options, you can't really utilize those display options when it comes to posing. And it kind of sucks. Because he's got a bicep swivel and he's only got a single joint in the elbow. Due to that sliding mechanism with the hips, he doesn't have a waist joint. He's got a hip swivel that allows his legs to go forward and back in and out. He's got a thigh swivel, and he's got a decent knee bend. A pretty decent knee bend. And there you go. And another thing is, he is kind of difficult to keep standing, but you just gotta remember, he stands on these and that. That's his standing base right there. Don't try to set him up on these red bits. You will not succeed in any way, shape, or form. You just gotta find that one sweet spot. That one sweet spot where you feel all of it touch the ground, and then he is perfectly solid.
Until you try to push him over.
Oh, no. Actually, you know, I poked him quite a few times when I first got him. He's pretty stable. So, yeah, my overall thoughts, bear in mind I'm biased towards this general idea of an Optimus. I am extremely biased towards it. So, asking me if you shouldn't buy this is a stupid question, because I'm immediately going to give you multiple reasons why you should. So,
None of which he's going to list here.
exactly. But here's my thing with him. If you want this mold in general, but you don't want it specifically as Optimus, you have two other options. You can get the Laser Prime, which is in the Chaos on Velocitron box set, which we will be seeing that on this channel very soon. And even then, with that said, that's a $100 box set. I'm pretty sure you're not going to buy a $100 box set for one toy.
It's hard to recommend.
Exactly, that's kind of hard to recommend, but one that's a lot easier to recommend is you get this as the character it was intended to be. That being Octane. You can definitely get this as Octane. Actually, before I go away and end this video permanently, let's get him over to the side so I can do the comparison shot that needs to be done here. There's Titan's Return G2 Prime, and here's Reveal the Shield G2 Prime.
Which one looks better?
Personally, I like this one better. Because this one looks a lot closer to what I remembered as the G2 Prime. Yeah, you could complain about the head all you want, but honestly, I still think this one pulls it off better. This is a good look, and like this looks even better in his colors. But like it's hard to recommend the retail version unless you dig the red and blue. If you dig the red and blue, this is the way to go. So with that said, guys...
There's another alternative if you don't like Octane or Optimus.
Okay. Are you mentioning the Scourge repaint? The one that I refuse to mention because he's super freaking expensive?
Yeah.
Bad, Alan. Bad.
You're never going to learn. You might as well stop trying.
Either way, does BC recommend Optimus as a whole? I recommend this mold. Either way. Just either way, I recommend some version of this mold. Because it's not a genius mold, but it is not a crap mold. A genius mold, on the other hand, we'll be getting into that here in just a moment. So, with that said, guys, I've taken up enough of your time. This is BC saying stay dirty, you get your geek on. I'll catch you guys next time.
Peace out.